Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the Sustainability Sisters. Today we are gearing up to host someone who's making waves in leadership, strategy, and sustainability. Our guest is the founder of and principal consultant of Capital I, where she has been redefining organizational design and people strategies with a focus on impactful leadership. Leading key accounts like NVIDIA and Reliance Foundation, crafting talent strategies, and solving complex workforce challenges. Her expertise spans across recruitment, stakeholder management, and driving social impact, qualities that make her a perfect fit for today's conversation. Get ready for an inspiring deep dive into her journey and insights. So we are the Sustainability Sisters, and we have been working on conducting interviews with other professionals from other backgrounds so that our viewers, you can get a taste of what has been happening in this space and keeping up. So this is the Sustainability Sister. Now I hand it over to Lynette Phillips. Please, what is Capital I and how did this begin?
Thank you so much, Sanchari, for inviting me over here. This is a great platform, and I'm excited to be here, as you can see on my face. so, and welcome to everybody who might be watching. Capital I is a recruitment firm that aims to sort of create a bridge between sort of innovative and impactful organization, impact-driven organizations, and job seekers and candidates who want to sort of be a part of not conventional businesses, but also businesses with a strong purpose. Our ambition is to sort of work with those businesses and leaders across. And about myself, I've been in the impact sector for around 12 years now, post graduating from TIS, Mumbai. And largely, I've been working as a program management person for the initial first 7 years of my career in various capacities and in different rights-based organizations with a lot of CSR corporates and international developmental agencies. Then I switched to more consulting roles, and recruitment was something that I sort of picked up because of my interest in working with people and sort of mentoring and working in teams and finding the good fit. And that is how I think Capital I sort of gave birth into an idea over the years, but now conceptualized sort of. So I'm headlining it now. And yeah, so we are at a nascent stage, but there's a lot of work to be done. So looking forward to it.
But the starting line is already here and you've crossed it. I don't think I know many recruiting firms specifically hiring in this sector. And great thought, great initiative. Uh, but
Thank you so much.
the thing is, there's not a lot of people working in this right now. So you're practically a pioneer, right? You're a first mover. What were the trends in the industry that you saw that drove you towards this? I mean, is there a demand big enough for an organization like yours to exist and succeed right now? Because I think most of the people that we work with are looking for jobs in the sustainability space, but then it becomes so difficult because the recruitment process is very generic, especially for people coming from different fields into sustainability. So yeah, what drove you basically?
Yeah, so just to add on to what why I would have loved to be a pioneer in the field, but it's actually incorrect. A lot of recruitment organizations are agencies, so to speak, are working on it. I have a lot of seniors who are recruiters who have been doing a lot of incredible work hiring in the sustainability space for the last couple of years, and more tenured organizations also. So I wouldn't call myself as or Capital I as a firm that is sort of being one of the first to try this. It has been happening through a lot of other major companies and smaller ones. In terms of our foray into this, of course, I mean, Like I said, if you're working in the impact space, or you're working with businesses that need to create, one thing is essential, like the entire ecosystem is moving towards uh, um, uh, sort of SDG, meeting the goals in SDG 2030, right? And both at the global and the local level. And when I say local in India,
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole landscape is moving towards sustainability, so to speak. So there are a lot of hirings in the energy efficiency, environment and management, and corporate sustainability. So I think it is inevitable for any recruitment agency or business to sort of move into that space. I leverage my background because coming from a climate action background, also, so to speak, it was something that I cherished and I wanted to develop further sort of expertise. In sort of hiring for different ambits of the ecosystem, whether it's corporate sustainability, whether it's a think tank that is working on environment awareness, or whether it's let's say a consulting firm that's hiring ESG specialists or something like that. So that was the whole reason behind why we wanted to sort of foray into this market as well. Sanchari, I think I see from my perspective as a recruiter also, I see a lot of candidates because coming to me with a lot of questions, I really want to get into this particular job. Let's say it's an ESG analyst, or let's say an environment management organization and everything. So they ask me what are the skill sets and what are the certifications, or how to sort of prove my credibility, or align my previous professional journey in that sphere. So while I understand there are a lot of certifications and all, perhaps you can help me with your journey, how you started out and
Definitely.
what helped you in terms of upskilling and everything to sort of land the role that you're currently in. I think that would really help the job seekers and the candidates who want to upskill.
Fingers crossed. So, my journey into sustainability has been a little hop, skip, and jump in general. And I believe most of the professionals that come into this sector have had similar experiences, like you've mentioned, because there's no particular degree or subject that you can take to call yourself a sustainability professional. Yes, there are sustainability management courses. There are a lot of courses at our alma mater itself on climate change and sustainability. So I studied geography in Calcutta University, and
Oh, no.
yeah. So from there, disaster management is taught for one semester, and it's a 6 month thing, right? It comes towards the end of your education, and out of everything that I had read about geography, and there's a lot to read about geography,
Okay.
disaster management seemed the most versatile way in which I could exercise or implement all the theories that we had come across, right? You take
Hmm.
population studies, you take human anatomy, you take soil geography, climatology, oceanography, everything, all of it adds up. And because it comes towards the end of your last semester, I started feeling like if all of this can be taken and applied into one segment, and we had a few seniors who had moved to TIS for their masters in disaster management or water policy or climate action, it was just somehow I landed at TIS. I got the disaster management. A lot of practical skills given to us, something that I had not looked forward to in education because I did not know that it existed. They take you to the field, they allow you to meet people there, have your own conversations, understand how the disaster impacted someone. And that drove me to, look more technically into why disasters happen, because there's a lot of people working on adapting after disasters and mitigating disasters. I feel is bigger for us, a bigger problem for us now. My first job was at this think tank, and over there we were researching on social and human capital mostly. And from there, they had this little window of opportunity that led us to the European regulations that not only looked at human capital but also at environmental capital. So they said, if you're reading this, why don't you read that as well? And that's what got me started into climate action and sustainability. But beautiful journey since then. I have had some work with a rating agency and then with the consulting agency. Now I'm in the industry. Post that, looking into actual sustainability strategies. And I think once you figure out what you like in your current role or your current space, it becomes a step on to something you can take next. A lot of people, I think, face decision paralysis in sustainability because the field is so huge. I mean, anywhere you look, you can have a new role, but it really matters what you have done before, because everything you've done, you need to put an addition to your story.
Really great that that you've gotten that sort of diverse experience of working on different things in a relevantly shorter span of time that people take probably 7 to 10 years to encapsulate and everything. So that has must have been very exciting and enriching. Also, if you could highlight certain certifications that
Hmm.
you really helped you in your work, which nobody talks about nowadays. But I, as a recruiter, feel like, and also in terms of what is happening, like for instance, the CII, Confederation
Hmm.
of Indian Industries, and TAGD recently published a report called Decoding Jobs India, um, for 2025, and they have mentioned as skilling and upskilling as one of the major pinpoints of to have like a sustainable skilling program, or sort of embed that in your organization. And I think having certifications, um, and courses, shorter courses, more agile courses that professionals can also do side by side, is something that is going to help a lot of people. So if you can highlight that, I think that would be great.
Yeah, they count. They definitely count. For example, even when you're recruiting, it becomes easier for you to sort through, right? When someone has something to show for a skill they've acquired. But then you've also faced this. People are coming up with a lot of courses. Like courses are becoming so readily available, and everybody
Exactly.
wants to have a course. Exactly. So the legitimacy of your course, now, on
Mm,
what criteria do you decide how legitimate a course is? So one
yeah.
thing that happens is already known organizations, say GAR or these guys, CFA. They when they bring out courses, we already know that they have a level of insight into what goes on in examinations, because GARP already had FRM and CFA already had the CFA level 1, level 2, and 3. So they know how to conduct the examinations. They just need to hire an expert who can basically create the syllabus for them. So the top runners in the sector right now are CFA ESG and SCR GAL. CFA ESG basically has insights on financial side of sustainability, investing in sustainability. What are the factors that an investor mandatorily has to look at this point? What are the factors they could be looking forward to in the future? And some stuff that the analyst can take away from when they're looking at sustainability data. At the end of the day, I want a quantifiable way of showing how much is sustainable and how much is not. And also, for the sake of the other stakeholders and shareholders mostly, I need to show that there is a benefit from this. SCR is Sustainability and Climate Risk by GARP. So GARP is predominantly a real estate related investment, also kind of body that educates people. Um, SCR is mostly for professionals who are looking into understanding sustainability and climate risk, and addressing it. So, like
Mm,
FRM is the financial risk management course that they have. Similarly, this SCR is also related to risk, but predominantly sustainability and climate related risk. So then, how do you assess whether your assets or liabilities are in a zone which is sustainable for you in the future? Are you affecting the biodiversity around you? How do you measure the effect of biodiversity uh, by a company which is operating in some specific area? How do you measure what is the impact of your operations and your supply chain on, say, water and waste and emissions around you? All of that, SCR brings it all together, and both CFA, ESG, and SCR have like a precursor to what is climate change. But if you've not studied climate change and sustainability before, I would advise someone to just go look at the a lot of free content online. Stop paying for courses with everything you have. edx.com has a lot of courses that you can audit. You can just sit inside it. You won't get a certification from it. You can also buy a certification from it, but I'm not sure how useful that would be to you. The IASE also has a 3-level course, and it's based on the levels of experience you have. So I think the first exam, somebody with 0 to 3 year experience, and then someone with 4+ experience, and likewise.
I mean, till now, the GRA
Yeah,
and
those are
the
basics.
CFI basics
Yeah,
that and all, but for carbon trading and I think those kind of roles, there are special
carbon
cert.
trading and credits are getting more interesting by the day, I think, because it's another way of making money out of sustainability. I know. And
Yeah,
it puts, I think it puts lesser accountability in the hands of people having those carbon credits. For example,
correct.
there's this huge organization that bought a forest, okay, for owning carbon credits. So they bought it, and now everything that the forest is absorbing is now their carbon credit. And they're going to be selling these carbon credits or offsetting their emissions through these carbon credits. So understanding the dynamics within this not only helps you leverage what you can do for the organization you're working at, but also what you can do in the policy making side of it. How do you regulate something like this? So that's
Yeah, exactly, and that is why. So in India specifically, there are a lot of organizations who are building this policy, climate policy, ecosystem, and everything. And
Mhm.
I think there's some incredible work in building that whole momentum around that space. I mean, in terms of the jobs, also you'll see a lot of jobs trending for policy analysts, public policy analysts
Yep, yep.
have really come up. And if you have a specialization in climate policy, that's excellent. But yeah, these are not very massy certifications.
Mm.
Uh,
Mhm. And they're
courses and everything.
expensive.
Very, very niche and specialized.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they make it a little unreachable, I think. Um, Especially given the salaries in India, I think it's questionable that someone will be able to pay the 80 to 90,000 it takes to do the CFA ESG certification. Even the SCR
Mm.
certification is around 60 K. And most of the others, GRI, I think if you can do it from somewhere, you can get it done between something like 25 to 30K.
BSI, and they have
Yeah,
like a 2 training, 2 3 day
yeah.
training. And I see that as an interesting space for organizations or businesses to sort of pitch in and make it an like a must-have component of their upskilling programs for their,
Mm-hmm.
especially because it adds immensely to retaining employees, right? For instance, I was talking to one of my friends who's working in a consulting firm right now,
Mm-hmm.
and she's into the sustainability. She's in a sustainability profile consultant, and she was telling me how she is now doing that comprehensive training wherein she'll get more idea and understand the scope better. Otherwise, it would have, for an individual, especially a jobs seeker, it doesn't make sense to invest like
Yeah.
lakhs of rupees in certifications without any certainty of whether you'll. So I think this is, I see it as a sort of a compelling standpoint for businesses to, especially in corporate sustainability,
Yeah.
businesses to pitch in and sort of create this mandatory program if they want to retain employees. And
Uh, the fun part is the regulations have now mandated that, almost mandated. They ask about how many people in your organization are working in this field, who are the experts who are taking care of this, and what are the trainings that are subject relevant that they have done. So now it's upon the organization itself to facilitate it within themselves. So, but speaking of the industry, right? What industries do you currently see are leading the charge in hiring for sustainability, impact, climate action, and where do you see untapped potential?
actually, I see them as different segments of the same impact industry. Let's say, for instance, if you're talking about impact, I think there has been a significant uh, movement in terms of what kind of jobs and what are kind of organizations are thriving now and coming out for people and everything. And a lot of it has to, obviously, like globally, whenever there are policy changes. Um, in India also, whenever there's a new government, new frameworks and everything come in, and that sort of emphasizes what kind of opportunities that the impact sector, social sector, development sector, so to speak, will have. So nowadays, obviously, for the last quite a many years, 5 years, definitely 5 years and more. If I'm not mistaken, 2015 onwards and all, there has been a landscape shift in terms of more corporate foundation roles, CSR jobs, so to speak.
Yeah.
A lot of think tanks have come up. There has been a lot of movement around climate think tanks and social development organizations, and a lot of social enterprises and startup have sort of mushroomed even in the social sector space, which can be both profit and non-profit.
Yeah. They've all found a footing and they've entered the market. They're there, even if it's like 5 to 6 people, some of their work really makes sense. So then they're still in the business and they're making it well. They're also at a position, the smaller firms, to charge less than the bigger firms usually do. And because the team is small in a smaller firm. So there's a very transparent uniformity between the kind of projects you do. There's
Yeah,
the narrative is same, the culture is strong because it's very few people. You've all agreed upon the culture. In larger organizations, I think yes, if there are templates, if there are reports, if there are SOPs in place, you do focus on controlling the narrative to your ideals, but smaller firms can pivot like that, you know. So you've been
yeah.
in the rounds.
True, true. And a lot of emphasis is also on the kind of money. So, right now,
Mhm.
uh, especially in the social sector space, there is the retail fundraising is really amping up the area. So, there are a lot of impact monitoring and evaluation
Mhm.
jobs booming. Obviously, because there's a lot of knowledge creation and evidence finding. So, of course, research is going to stay there for a long time. And then, of course, project managers are definitely required. But what has changed significantly is while earlier, you could do away with not having specified skills like, let's say, a component of data analysis is crucial for project managers now,
Yeah.
which was not the case earlier. Like, you could
Mhm.
do away with basic or mid
And
level
and
Excel
hence
knowledge and all.
the assignments are tedious. At
Yeah.
any recruiting, yeah, especially for sustainability, because my understanding is that it's not that easy for someone recruiting to figure out whether the person need to come on board has the exact set of skills that the project is about. Um, but then the advertisement is about a particular role. The job requires something else, and the person who is judging whether this person is a good fit or not is also from a separate background. So there's very a lack of tandem between all of these aspects.
Yeah, and a lot of so by nature, I think project managers should be generalists. If we create an ideal person, um, so they should be generalists, but that there should be transferable skills in terms of skill specific projects if they are handling. People with general sort of expertise, like a diverse experience of working in different thematic areas, cross industries, and all, essentially do much better in terms of handling, because for them transferable skills are easier to sort of navigate into and everything. So that has been the social sector aspect of it when I talk about impact. Now, when I talk about sustainability, that is also specifically, uh, there are two aspects that I look at. One is sustainable development, um, climate action, and corporate sustainability. These are the three major things that I look at. For sustainable development and all, there are a lot of these organizations that are working on agriculture, let's say. So agri-tech roles are booming and everything. Sustainable livelihoods organizations are doing incredibly well. There you have a lot of positions coming under sustainable livelihood manager, so to speak, and which prefer people with substantial knowledge around um, working with livelihood profiles earlier. And gender is always cross-cutting because with the whole DE&I movement across, so gender is also there. Then, of course, like research that is being that is there, evidence-based research. So a lot of research manager roles are coming for non-profit research organizations also that are working with the governments and with the stakeholders across the country, internationally and nationally both. So and when we talk about corporate sustainability, of course, you have like energy efficiency targeted role. Especially solar energy, EV is coming up majorly. You need a lot of engineers who are skilled and in that sort of space. Then like we spoke about carbon credits and everything. So that is also an interesting space. A lot of climate tech startups are sort of building their firms around that, providing advisory services and everything. And largely, I think, and the last bit is climate action. A lot of advocacy based roles with major organizations, international and national. Um,
Are those organizations looking for younger people?
I I don't think that they have. They are very inclusive in their hiring. So age is definitely age, caste, gender discrimination is, uh, I think, not there so much or something. I'm not saying that the other organizations don't do that, but I'm saying that they particularly pay attention, and at least that has been my experience. I'm not sure whether it's experience. So I think. um I have had the opportunity to interview with some of the upcoming climate movement organizations and all. And my experience of interviewing with them was excellent, like in terms of the process, how inclusive they were, and everything. So, I mean, that stays with you. So, I'm coming from that side. It might not be general, but yeah. So, a lot of roles like let's say product manager for if it's a climate movement company startup, then they will be looking for product manager uh, roles or product director roles. So largely these are some of the key positions and all that I keep seeing across the sectors, whether impact, climate action, or sustainability, so to speak.
That's
And of course, under sustainability, ESG, how can we forget the reporting one?
Mhm. Yeah, but then
Sustainability.
ESG and sustainability has become such a reporting centric thing right now.
Yeah,
we spoke about it earlier. I think that is one of the places to start, definitely. But sustainability strategy, once that becomes streamlined, I don't know what we can do, you know? There's no limit after that.
Are there any roles in your field that are particularly, you find that are particularly difficult to fill or hire for? Just out of
Mhm.
curiosity.
Yes, consultants. Oh God, it's so. I get it. You know, hiring a consultant is hard, and I think they make it intentionally hard. Okay, you need someone who can not only create a narrative or at least shape it, and then you need the same person to be able to also sell the narrative, and then you need the same person to be able to visualize the narrative in a way that it can be sold to other people beyond their pay scale or something. So you basically need a jack of all trades, and
Yeah.
master of some definitely is. So consultants are really difficult to hire because I think in these last 4.5 years, that is one sector I've seen people trying really hard and failing to be able to hire someone who stays around, enjoys the work as much as, you know, the other person, say, on the same table, and is being able to derive something out of it. Because we're working all day long. It's a tough job. It requires more than 8 hours of work from you on days. And a lot of other jobs do too. I'm not saying they don't. It's just this requires a little more. And most of the work that you're get able to produce is also not of your direct ownership, right? I can develop a crazy good program and then see whether that works or not. But then the onus of that would not be to me individually or to my organization. It is going to be of the client agency because they have managed to do it. And that's how it should be because they've put in the money, the effort, they've hired a consultant. But it does become a kind of thankless job. So then who becomes the perfect fit for this role? Someone who is highly driven, can have their own motivation, also likes the job, also is able to do a lot. And that's why I think the funnel in hiring consultants is because uh, you get so many people who want to try this, but when someone is really good at that job at this field, they do not want to leave what they have because it's not just about the kind of work you produce, but also the kind of balance you maintain within the organization, people wise. A lot of people have been hiring analysts and researchers from this PhD pool, from these hyper expert pools. And what they don't, I think organizations could give a little bit more thought to it in the sense if you have an expert, give them some work that an expert can do. Don't ask them to fit into your box of the product. You need to be able to ask them tough questions like what is going to make my product better. Give them time to study it and set timely deliverables and then communicate with them because the language people who've done PhD use and the language that corporate companies use are very different. uh, Technical term wise, relationship wise, and explaining it between the two people, the communication gap seems to persist in the industry still because a lot of organizations have hired hyper experts for something very basic. And then now they feel like this person is not coming down to where the product is. And then the expert sitting on their job role is feeling like the company is not doing enough to push the product or develop it more. Similar this translation, I think that is a gap that could be addressed better. Hopefully, with you around.
There's a lot of faith. Yeah, I mean, with especially in the recruitment space, I think a lot of us are trying to sort of look into that and work on it, and that is where sort of that is why I think we are having this session in the first place for me and for a lot of other recruiters also, sort of to have that understanding and acumen to find the good fit
Hmm.
and not just look at peripheral and everything.
So, with remote working becoming more and more common, especially after the pandemic, yeah, some people have been called back to office, but globally, when you look at the roles,
most of them have become hybrid. Even the business owners don't want to spend as much on leasing out buildings for a longer period of time, I think. So,
Yeah.
in this space, are you seeing companies seek sustainability talent globally instead of locally? Then, has it eased hiring across regions to find a specific kind of candidate?
I mean, definitely. I think post the pandemic, and also because of globalization and all, even before that, I think uh, pandemic in a way sort of uh, made it happen
Mm.
in practice and everything. But definitely, there is a sort of upward trend in uh, global hiring for different positions and everything.
Mm.
Um, lot of, but I think it is more to do with what kind of a work industry and scope of work every role has. For
Mhm.
instance, if you look at a lot of social sector organizations, civil society organizations or foundations and all, there are certain aspects of the role that require you to be on field. I think there are certain industries that have those kind of roles where you need to go to work. You know what I'm getting at? So I think those roles will never be out of the loop.
Mhm.
In terms of whatever is more technology based, yes, for sure. I think companies are more open to hiring people from different geographies and everything. And in terms of the business sense, I think it is more to speak it is more about also the cost that is bringing in. For instance, a lot of our Indian companies, um, it makes more sense to hire talent locally.
Yeah. Is it because talent is available locally that Indians prefer hiring locally?
Hmm, I mean, one is that unless it is a skill that is not there, uh, mostly for the cost reasons, right? Doesn't it make sense that
Um,
you hire locally for it? So, for instance, let's say, for instance, if a consultant in India is willing to do that piece of work for me for, let's say, 3,000 rupees per day, and the same work is being provided by an international consultant for 350 $500 per day. So by that aspect, doesn't it
Yeah,
cost lesser to have?
definitely.
So I think that ways it has a lot of metrics to it. But largely, yes, post pandemic, there is more openness towards having hybrid workspaces. Um, and I think that has got to do a lot with productivity also, and how the work environment in every company is. A lot of companies prefer it, a lot of companies go back to working from office full time. So, yeah.
Just heard a couple of companies asking people to coming back to work from office. One difference here, in opinion, I feel, is that when the company is global and they have enough, or uh, scratch that. Everybody has enough. These guys just choose to put in better work because they realistically want to move towards some sustainability target. So then they don't shy away from spending a little more to get an expert from another country or region. And then they'll send them incentives also. So, okay, you keep working from home if this suits you. Just get this done because we know that you are the best person to be able to do that. And I understand that's very different from hiring a fresher. But these specialist roles have become a little, they've become like a service itself that the experts are being able to provide to the organization they're working at. So absolutely appreciate that though. We've had the opportunity of talking to so many people on this channel itself is because these companies where we have worked at, we were able to meet people globally. And then they had come from these very specific niche programs and parts of sustainability. So without that opportunity provided by the company that we were working at, I don't think it would have been possible.
So, like I said, I think a lot of, from a business sense, a lot of thought is being put into that. What makes more sense,
Mm,
cost wise,
mm,
feasibility wise of the work output, less to do with individual level preferences and all. So, a lot of companies like that who can afford to sort of get into that structure of hybrid mode or remote first culture, they are adopting. And those who can't, I think they are sort of continuing to work from office, and um, it's I think a double win-win for, or probably it has repercussions and boons on both sides. On that note, I also wanted to see or probably get your perspective on how do you see um, the impact of technology, especially within that space, like within this space, sustainability space, in terms of roles and everything.
I had this discussion with one of the other sustainability sisters is what if AI prompts could become us? I mean, we're looking at data from huge companies, large databases from a lot of companies. We're speaking to a lot of stakeholders. What if AI could take over everything? Then what is the role of a sustainability professional, right? So then she's like, that's great if AI can do that because it saves us a lot of trouble. But still, the outcome that we are driving towards is going to be set by someone like us, because the data that the company currently has is based on, say, what has been going on till now. But when I am thinking of certain goals, I am thinking of where I can get to at some point of time, then it's like it's dreaming for your organization or for the kind of work that you will be doing, whatever it is. You're looking at what are all the options. And yes, AI could say analyze them a little bit faster, but still the kind of prompts that you can give to an AI, get your work done and move faster on to another project is also exponential. Okay? I can create a wonderful deck with AI, but ultimately I am the person that this investor is going to bet on based on my presentation using AI's edited presentation because it's my idea. AI can ideate, yes, but given the noise that is there within AI itself, it hallucinates, it has certain restrictions, whatever it is. As a curator, human beings will go on. And in sustainability, AI definitely a great tool to be used. A lot of times, a lot of things can be automated, definitely. But as a curator, sustainability jobs and experts, these roles are not that easy going are not going to go away that easily. And this is a question one of our professors had also asked me, that as a professional in ESG and sustainability, do you feel like your roles can be taken up by something else? Because ratings, to some extent, you can standardize ratings. You require data, you can program it to show and show the analysis as well. But there is a certain level of humanness also into the data because the rating agencies that I have worked with or for have always maintained that one scrutiny, that one insight that a machine can't give you. So it's someone who's actually gone through all of this data and made the pains to put it in a short summary for you.
Yeah, yeah. And I was also wondering, I think the impact could also be that the volume of hires can be affected.
Mm.
Let's say, for instance, if you're hiring 10 consultants right now, with technologies input and everything, you can reduce it to five,
Mhm.
something like that. I mean, we are at a, like, it's still, though there are evidences on this by different
Mm.
sort of magazines and articles or newsletters saying that there will be AI replacements of jobs and all. But I think it should take some time. And like you said, a lot of roles that inevitably require human judgment will not be like that will remain.
Also,
Sanitary.
repetitional jobs, right, right? There are some jobs where you have to do the same thing every day. Let AI do those so that I can be free to do other things that I want to and
Yeah,
I aspire to do.
of course, of course.
Uh, I still want to ask like one question from you. Okay. And it has nothing to do with sustainability, but everything to do with our listeners. Do you read or watch any particular show on sustainability or climate action? Maybe not as related to it. It could be about economics or anything in general, and I'll make it relate.
I keep watching. I'm quite a movie buff, so movies, series, documentaries. So I keep a tab on that. So I mean, sci-fi and all. I keep watching.
Well, designing.
Anything related to climate or something. It's not just because you asked right now. It's not hitting my head.
Have you
I've
watched
been put on a.
Ender's Game or
No, not
Dune for
really.
that matter?
Oh, Dune, first part I watched, but unfortunately, I have been procrastinating on Dune too. For some reason, for these massive movies, right, which are very exciting to watch and all, I
Yeah.
create this atmosphere in my head that I have to watch it with this ambience and everything. And unless I get that right, I don't, I don't watch that. So yeah, I think
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
yeah, but very honestly, the amount of everyday content consumption on my work and everything that takes into place or something like that, it feels okay if I'm not watching climate or sustainability related movies at least. That's why.
Fill your free time with all of that. That is what.
But I do watch your videos, sustainability, if that counts.
Yeah, I'll make
And
it
I have
count.
a
Don't
couple of
worry.
favorites. I have a couple of favorites if you can, if you want to talk about.
We'll discuss them later.
Yeah.
ठीक है. Great, Lynette. Thank you so much for coming to our channel. And if you have any last words, maybe not last, maybe we'll keep creating, but any last words within this video for our viewers?
Thank you so much, Sanchari. Actually, thanks to you that this happened. And like I said, that I am a pro continuing learner sort of a person, and I really appreciate this and what you guys are doing at Sustainability Sisters. And I hope this session was a small step towards job seekers, towards young professionals, mid careers, or anybody who benefits from it. I hope they got something of merit out of this session. But thank you so much for having me here. And I look forward to continuing with your work and following Sustainability Sisters. For now, thank you.
Likewise. Your channel, I've come across a couple of posts already and keep sending them to me. Thank you. Because I go and like every single post because it's important, the kind of work that you're doing, the kind of space you have created. And I did not know before this video that there are others like you. So it must be something about you, right? Because you are so proactive in reaching out, even through the groups and communication networks that we have. So I have high hopes for you, and I hope we collaborate soon again.
Yeah, I think that is like a thing with me, especially in the role that I am. I get so excited on behalf of the clients and the candidates that I try to reach them all over wherever I can find them. So, but yeah, that was
Good problem
yeah.
to have. Good problem to have.
Yeah. All right then.
Like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you, everybody. This will be it.